Obviously, we do some prioritization based on what is the value that it will bring to the user. A lot of ROI discussions go on every time we do our backlog planning. But what we try to do is that anything important, such as threading or such as the left adaptive rail.
The feature teams are responsible today to test all those. Where we do come in as a Mac team is to look at it, hey, and provide perspectives or feedbacks based on like, hey, is this fitting into the whole ecosystem of Mac app, and provide that early on to the teams and say like, hey, this is what we are seeing. This is how it works.
Welcome back to the Teams Insider podcast. This week we are going deep on Teams on Mac and Teams on iOS, both mobile and on iPad. Why it's such an important platform for Microsoft, where Microsoft decide to do custom things for those platforms versus stay the same as the Windows client. Really interesting conversation with Harry and Avinash on the Microsoft team. Thanks very much for them for taking the time to discuss. And many thanks to Crestron, who are the sponsor of this podcast. Really appreciate all their support. On with the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Teams Insider podcast. Really excited to talk about this one. Something I think that doesn't get enough visibility is the amount of features and innovation happening on the Mac and Apple side of the house. So macOS, iPad, iOS, CarPlay, there's a lot going on there. Got the two right people to talk to here. So Harry, maybe you could introduce yourself first.
Hey Tom, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Hari Krishna. I work in Microsoft Teams, and my team owns Teams clients on both Windows and Mac. I'm super excited to talk about the work the team has done and has been doing, and what we'll be doing on the Teams Mac client going forward, and just share the things behind the scenes of some of the work the team has done.
So Avinash, thanks for joining. Maybe you just give us a little bit of your background and what your role is, because I know you look after the mobile clients.
I'm Avinash. I have been with Microsoft for around 20 years now. A lot of experience in the mobile area, a lot of platforms, some of which people might not even remember now. All through, I have been on mobile. Now I lead the engineering efforts on mobile clients for both iOS and Android platforms. As we discussed earlier, we'll be talking about some of the cool innovations that we are bringing to the mobile platforms and, iPad and iOS in particular.
So, Harry, could you give us a little bit of background? Because you've been working with the team for a while. Your kind of Microsoft background, it'd be really interesting to hear.
Yeah, I've, out of college, joined Microsoft. It's been 19 years in Microsoft. It's been a great journey. I've worked across the stack in Windows operating systems, the good old Windows Phone, built some frameworks, build applications on top of it, OneNote Mobile as an example, and then moved on to the Office applications. I've done some Windows updates and CXE side of it, where we worked with customers, fixed some of the Windows issues which they were facing as an update delivery team. And then had an great opportunity to work on the first version of Teams as an architect, built in the client on Electron, shipped it. We saw the whole COVID surge, great growth, the rocket ship growth of Teams, was able to see it and understand how customers are using Teams product. It's been exciting to see that growth. Now we have moved on to the next stack, which has been secure, which has been reliable, and you all have seen the performance improvements from the classic Teams to new Teams in the last couple of years. It's been phenomenal to see that growth and change in the architecture and how the users have given us feedback. Now we are on to this next journey of like, how do we understand our customers better and making sure the customer feedback is addressed quickly and make the Teams Mac product as one of the amazing ones out there based on the feedback we are receiving and also the innovation we want to bring into the Teams product.
Yeah, it's really interesting because obviously in the Skype for Business days, we, initially it was very Windows driven. We had to wait a long time for the iOS kind of client to come out. And then we had a lot of forking of this worked on this client, but on this client. And I remember back in the early Teams days, it was a lot of, well, we're going to try and keep that as uniform as possible. So we're not going to have massive disparities between Android and Windows Mobile at the time and iOS. And it feels like that's been broadly true, like across the different platforms. But as we talk about Mac now, I'd love to know kind of, obviously Microsoft is Windows, but actually Mac is a really important platform to a lot of businesses, and also where you choose to customize for Mac because of Mac native capabilities. And I guess I'll ask Avinad later on the mobile as well. That's more interesting. So like, first off, I guess like it's interesting how important Mac is, even though Microsoft is obviously owns Windows.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Tom. Like, Teams on Mac is being used by one of the best critiques. That's how we see it. It's the decision makers as well as developers, a lot of great people with a very strong opinion, and Mac users are having this, hey, they need everything to be pixel perfect. And that just gives us the drive to go make that Teams product even better on the Mac platform. So we have done, as part of this integration into Mac, in the last 6 months itself, we have been working with to make this AirPod integration with the calling and meetings where you can mute and unmute, seamlessly. We've done this Mac menu bar extra integration where you see on the top right, where you're quickly able to start a chat, go into settings.
Yeah.
Just instead of opening a Teams app and go to it, like you have that in the fingertips before even having like the Mac app in the foreground. So you can do all those things right now. The presenter toolbar, or the screen sharing with like multiple monitors, making it glitch free, or like minimizing are distracting for people. So we're trying to listen to the feedback and fix those quickly. So that's one part of the Mac integrations we have been improving on, the deep macOS integrations. The other part is every time Apple ships new OS, we need Teams engineering have to make the Teams product, Teams app, work really well, get the SDK updates with the macOS newer versions, and make sure the versions, there are no reliability issues, there are no craft issues in the product as the new OS comes. So as part of that, we are shifting left a lot to make sure we test and validate the developer betas as they come in. We have established rhythm with the Apple engineering team and the Apple marketing teams to make sure Apple and Microsoft are working very closely to solve these issues with the customers on the Teams app, so that by day 0 of GA of the Teams, or of the of the Mac OS 26, which was the last version, which released in September.
Yeah, with some substantial changes. Like they're moving to a yearly cadence, aren't they? So they're kind of accelerating their cadence in a way.
The cadence, and we're trying to make sure the day 0 release and experience of the Teams product on these newer Mac OS versions is rock solid and doesn't have any degraded experiences because of the new changes coming in the OS. So those are the couple of things we're kind of intentionally doing. So our Teams users on Mac platform are having the continued experience and doesn't have a reliability drop or an issue which they'll face as Mac OS goes into GA.
Yeah, that definitely, the first thing definitely resonates for me in terms of Mac users can be, like there's lots of creatives, lots of business users, and Mac is very well served for software, as you say, that is like really craft, pixel perfect thought through. So the expectation and the bar of those users is often quite high, I think, on average. And then the other thing that's interesting about the iOS is you don't see enterprise admins rushing to patch Windows like almost as slow as they can rather than as fast as they can. Whereas I think a lot of Mac users are running at the same speed as Apple, and they'll hit iOS 26 or macOS 26 comparatively quickly. And then, as you said, you need to be ready kind of day 0.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. And getting those fixes, working with the Apple engineering team in a weekly fashion, just helping us get to this issues quickly, doing our internal validations and testings across the Teams ecosystem has yielded a great results, and we're going to continue that effort as the new versions of Mac will release.
And they're like, again, for people not familiar with kind of, obviously Microsoft is huge, right? But like there's teams of people that in their entire job is Mac client and Mac devices and iOS. Like it's not like it's an important platform. It's not a kind of an afterthought.
That's right. So there is a dedicated team which is really working on both Mac and iOS applications, who are making sure the experiences are great and also building experiences like I talked about, AirPods or Mac Menu Bar Extra. And there are upcoming features which we'll announce in Ignite timeframe, which I'm super excited.
So this recording will be coming out just before Ignite, so stay tuned for that.
Yes.
Not revealing any particular features, but how do you think about when to go to make a feature slightly different for Mac because of some native OS capabilities versus exactly the same as Windows? Because there's an interesting debate there about how much you change the experience and how much you embrace the way the Mac UI UX thinks about things versus the Windows UI UX thinks about things.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, right? Like if you look at the team's product across Windows and Mac, we want to ship the features so the experience is unified, the experience people are getting at the right time with the right quality across Windows and Mac. That's have been our motto for the last 8 years, 9 years of Teams. From day zero, we're like, hey, we want to get.
Yeah, I remember it was a strong statement, because at the time of Skype, we'd gone into all sorts of forks of like this works and that works. And it was really nice to hear when Teams from day one, and that was kind of part of the promise of the Electron base, was like it's mostly web driven, so actually it's easier to do different things on different platforms. It feels like we've kind of walked away from that now. Is that for performance reasons, or what was the thinking?
We're not forked, Tom. We are still sticking to the same hybrid apps architecture.
Right.
We still are having like the same features come in at the same day across Mac and Windows. If you look at it, like all the features we've been releasing with threads in channels, the multiple reactions, saved messages, all these new features we are kind of trying to make sure it is unified and it's across the product.
Yeah.
But to your question of like, hey, how are we picking and choosing, making some of the features native? Like, there's some features which I can't talk about, which we'll talk about in Ignite, where, there is strong feedback about, hey, these features need to be native to Mac. I spoke about AirPods, how does the integration work? There is Mac Menu Bar Extra. There is this docking icon, the menu bars. Those things are strong Mac-specific features. And there are similar things with the calling and meetings scenarios where you'll see the audio-video quality. How does the iPhone camera come into play? When do we pick those devices? How do we pick the Mac camera? So those are very specific to Apple ecosystem, and we want to make that better. But the UX treatment is, again, it's earned differences. We're trying to make sure, hey, this is an earned difference. And the design team in Microsoft is very particular about the craft of the product and making sure, hey, this, if you see one of the notifications features on Mac and Windows, on Mac, you see the chats are through the macOS integrations. But the calls meeting starts, they are using the custom Teams integrations to make sure those delivery of those important calls or meetings is not dropped because of some of the settings which you are deep in macOS ecosystem. So there are kind of these earned differences which you're kind of like making sure the design team and the engineering team and the product team are enumerating and delivering that experience to our customers.
Now, that's really great to understand. Yeah, I think the SIMship thing is so important because as you're releasing features to customers, like it's so hard from a user adoption point of view to be like these people but not these people, or these people not. So in terms of landing new features, it's great to see. Like what goes into that? So like from because there's a team developing the feature for their subset of the product. Does that then come down to the pipe to both the client teams at the same time, and they're kind of integrating and testing at the same time?
Correct. So from as you mentioned, and as I talked about threads in channels or saved messages, the team which is building that feature are taking the responsibility to test across the endpoints, both web, Mac, and Windows at the same time. And this has been the classic feedback we get about like, hey, you're rolling out. Like all of the rollouts we do are staged and rolled out gradually to make sure we hear it for feedback. We start with tap rings, our early like IT admin rings, and then we get feedback. Then we go into public preview, where we get some of the insiders and exciter people who try it and give us feedback. Then we move to our general population, and then we ramp it. We go to the 100% and other clouds as well. And we get this feedback about, hey, I see this feature, but I don't see this feature in this particular other users. And that's part of the rollout. And as I mentioned, like as the new versions get deployed and as the new features get enabled, everybody gets to seeing that feature almost like within a month's time frame. So I think that's and we try to do that with roadmaps. We publish it and make sure that people are aware of it. And on the other thing you mentioned about how do they test, so that's one part of like the feature teams are responsible today to test all those. Where we do come in as a Mac team is to look at it, hey, and provide perspectives or feedbacks based on like, hey, is this fitting into the whole ecosystem of Mac app, and provide that early on to the teams and say like, hey, this is what we're seeing, this is how it works, and across the design, product, and engineering teams.
That's awesome. And how does that customer feedback get back to you and your teams? Because there's immense amount of customers. There's different ways of feedback to get back. It'd be interesting to hear how that plays into the kind of design decisions and features.
Yeah, and that's a great question again, Tom. Like one of the things we do now religiously, and this has been a feedback which we have seen from our customers, where like, hey, is Microsoft really hearing for our feedback? Right. We take customer feedback seriously across, from the team's leadership to every IC in the team's org, where we look at feedback across like the IT admin channels, like where there are, we go talk to these IT admins, get the feedback from these tenants and their users. We also look at all the surveys we are sending out right now, which some users are seeing in a rolling window, and when they submit that feedback, we look at that daily, literally daily, review it, and what is the themes. We have built tools on top of it to make sure that the feedback themes are categorized and the right folks are looking at that. We also look at Microsoft Answers, we look at Reddit, we look at the tap rings feedback and all the bugs which we get. So we kind of collate all that and figure out like, hey, where is the feedback which we are seeing, and what is our current roadmap? Is it correctly pointing to the feedback and adjust it? And where do we see people are going on? Where do we see the new themes are emerging? Mm-hmm. So that's one part of it. And we also do this as part of new feature rollout. If there is a new feature we're rolling out and say like, hey, this is not working for our end customers, we kind of look at it and make sure we adjust the feature delivery based on the verbatim feedback we're getting, based on the volumes of the feedback, and take that into consideration of feature delivery. So those are the two things we do across the team's engineering org.
Yeah, it's great to hear that, because it can feel like, it's such a big product, such a big organization. It can feel like, well, I'm sending in the feedback forms, but where does it go? So it's nice to know that goes in. And obviously there's a subsection of vocal feedback online for any feature in any direction, but then you're getting the direct product feedback and the telemetry to know, is it being used, how's it being used, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I think that you touched on this thing with telemetry, Tom. I want to just touch on that a little bit more. We do look at the verbatim's feedback, and we also tie it to what you just said about Teams telemetry and say like, hey, is this, how is it? How bad is it? Like, where are we? Is it like the P95 metric, or is it a P99? Where do we need to adjust and go root cause it from our telemetry? Because sometimes we don't have logs in all the data, and the Teams telemetry helps us to understand based on the necessary service data which is collected. Based on that, we know like, hey, this is the place where, chat switch is slow, or the app launch is slow, or this feature is taking more time to load, things like that.
And Harry, there's been a lot going on around kind of making sure Teams clients are up to date. So I've been talking to the team about, the update reports and looking at like stopping people using very old clients. Can you talk about what's going on there?
Yeah. And Microsoft Service Agreement, as part of the Team Service Agreement, we have been very clear about and I mentioned this about how Teams is a hybrid application. It's built on the services. Services needs to be up to date. They are getting up to date all the time, and the Teams clients also need to be up to date.
It's interdependent, right? There's the back end and client, and the expectation of the service is that you're on. Like, we can't have the old days of the server version is static and the client is static.
Exactly. So due to that, and also because of the security work we are doing across Microsoft, we want to keep our users on the latest and greatest Teams clients. And to make this, the service agreement has been any Teams app which is running 3 versions older, we are blocking it. There is banners which show that, hey, you're running an old client, please keep it up to date. And if it falls beyond these 3 versions, we do block them. To make it easier and for our IT admins, we built this Teams Client Health Dashboard, which shows the version information of their users, of their tenants, where they can see hey, what versions are they running, right? And they're able to quickly mitigate it on their side and by pushing an update. Because most of the customers today, not most, there is 2-3% of the users out there where IT admins want to control update.
Yeah, but the vast majority of customers now have got used to the fact it's a cloud world, clients are going to update, and actually I need to be up to date because look at all the security challenges in the world. But you're right, there's some traditional enterprise that is like command and control, we'll test it first type methodology. Exactly.
And to make sure the teams, there are people. And we appreciate, we understand why these customers want to, control their updates. And there are knobs, but our request for folks is, hey, please make sure you keep the Teams client up to date by pushing updates using the Microsoft Auto Updater and the Jamf Pro or whatever tools they're using today to deploy Teams product.
Yeah, I think the nice thing about that is as well is you're bannering the users. So before it stops working, it gives you a kind of a warning of talk to your admin / there's something needs to be done here. And you've given the admins the tooling to know what's going on. Because it's all well and good saying it's N-3, but I don't have visibility. It's well, how do I? But you've got that, as you say, the client health dashboard. If you haven't checked that out, worth checking out. It's a really good insight. And sometimes it will just be things like they're on a weird site that's stuck behind a weird proxy that's stopping it working. It's not intentional, but you wouldn't have known about it unless you look at the health dashboard.
Right. Yeah, and that's all part of the Teams Admin Center. There's a tab on the left. If you have not went to it, go to it. There are more insights which are coming in. There are already if your users are hitting app start or crashes, it does show that information. If it's a thing which IT admins can help solve it, I think that'll be super helpful.
Awesome. So, Avinash, maybe we could jump to you and talk more about the mobile side of the house. We were talking with Harry about the kind of the Skype journey story and the Teams story, and Teams was born more in a mobile first world, but now so many years later, mobile clients are so important to the user experience. How do you think about that in terms of SIM shipping features and where things are natively slightly different on Android versus iOS and now iPad as well?
Yeah, so that native look and feel has been one of the reasons why we have shipped native clients on iOS and Android. Right, it really defines the experience for our users in a much different way if we try to basically ship what we ship on desktop compared to mobile. So we do try to basically have SIM shipping as you asked, right? For most of our most important features. Obviously, we do some prioritization based on what is the value that it will bring to the user. A lot of ROI discussions go on every time we do our backlog planning. But what we try to do is that anything important, such as threading or such as the left adaptive rail, right? The unified chat and channel experience that we ship, all of that basically ships on all platforms together, right? The idea is that users should have a continuous experience between desktop and mobile. So if you are using folders, organizing your content in those folders and using the unified mode, you should have the same option to actually do that on mobile. But where we basically allow customizability is that you can choose to actually use unified on desktop, but you can be split on mobile if that works better for you. So we do allow a little more customizability. We also allowed, for example, a recent mode on mobile compared to desktop, which allows users to actually just catch up on their chats the same way as they did earlier, right? So we do those mobile specific enhancements, which allow users to be in their flow, right? A lot of mobile flow is about coming into the app and going out as fast as possible because you are on the move. You want to just, get your task done and go out of the app, right? So we have optimized the experience that we started off with across all platforms and then done some more changes on top of that to allow more, customization for how users use our mobile platforms.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear that how you think about how the functionality should be the same, but actually optimized. I'm a heavy mobile user. I travel a lot, and bringing chat and channels together massively increased my ability to deal with channels while on the road. Like that was such a big one for me because it was like, oh, they're all in one place now. So I'm triaging, and that's how I think about mobile experience. I'm like, as you said, jump in, triage, jump out. So yeah, it's really interesting to hear how you think about like users expect the same capabilities, but it might be not the same UI experience.
Absolutely. And that is how, we have been approaching most of our features, right? Start with the same common great base that Teams has, and then think about how our customers will like to use and how our customers actually use the product on the move and optimize for that.
I think what's interesting about mobile these days as well, the horsepower on mobile devices is so good. Like previously, you would have been more limited to be like, well, we can only do this on desktop because we've got the horsepower and the RAM. But actually now mobiles are so powerful, it feels like there's not much you can't do on both platforms.
Yeah, I mean that's a great segue into the multitasking things that we have been talking about on iPad, right? That's one of the reasons why we are basically investing more in making our iPad experience much better with using keyboard, multi-windowing. We also added external monitor support. So, you can effectively use your iPad as your travel companion in many situations.
Yeah, even external camera support on iPad now, which is like a little mini computer. And that's how I see a lot of execs with iPad Pros, and that's their primary device.
Yeah, and in fact, we have got a lot of feedback from those exec customers that this is what they want.
I've seen Ilya mention the iPad app more than once on various talks, so I know he's a user.
No, your observation is absolutely spot on. We have explicit feedback from these customers who really want, these capabilities to shine on iPad because that's their preferred device when on the move, taking meetings all day, moving from one conference room to another. Because iPads are lighter and with just a cover, folio cover, you can actually convert them into a proper, multitasking device these days. So really, our focus has been, and we have been on a journey through the last 1 year trying to enhance all the capabilities that we bring for these scenarios on iPad. And multi-window is a big part of it because multitasking is what, most of us do, right? Gone are those days when we looked at things one at a time, right? Everyone is basically always multitasking, hopping from one thing to another. And that's where we are investing to make the offering more powerful and sort of make a junior brother to the desktop offering.
Yeah, it feels very much what Apple are pushing at the moment. Certainly with the macOS and iOS 26, it feels like they're making the iPad OS options more and more powerful. The multi-window experience in particular.
Yes, and that is where we are adding some new enhancements to actually utilize those iOS 26 enhancements and use that as part of our dedicated window rollout that we are doing right now to allow more customizability around how we create windows, how we center them, so that your context is not lost, right? We pop the window, you can drag the window, the chat that you want to actually split into a multi-window offering onto the side, and it will create a new window there. When you try to pop out, it basically creates a smaller window so that your original context is not lost, allowing a lot more customizability around how you basically start off in a new window size, right? So that has been really great to see and how it has evolved.
Yeah, let's jump in and watch that video because there's a new demo of the experience.
This is what it looks like, right? You are able to drag and drop.
Nice. It's getting really powerful.
Yeah, and with the close window new paradigm that they have added for closing and resizing windows, it really becomes really helpful for our customers to actually get the right window layout that they want on the screen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff happening on the Mac. One of the other things I noticed you've put a lot of effort into recently is the CarPlay experience.
Yes, that you notice it correctly. We have been doing a lot of work there to actually improve the overall experience as customers drive into work or leave work for their homes, because we see that mobile still gets used. Our primary goal there has been to still have a very safe experience for our users on commute, but allow them to actually get rid of distractions as fast as possible, right? So while we do notify users now to actually about incoming messages, incoming calls, and all on your console, we also allow you to do hands-free responses. So you can just quickly respond to an incoming message that, if you are running late, you can just say, I'll be a couple of minutes late. Wait for me, right? So the focus from our side has been on making sure that whatever enhancements we add there, they are safe for our customers, but at the same time, we allow them to basically take something off their plate on the move by allowing them to respond, send a quick message, or just attend their meetings on the call. Because a lot of the calls that we attend are also, those silent calls where you don't actually have to interact on screen or be part of the discussions that actively. So in those scenarios, CarPlay is a really good match for Teams.
And it's user choice, right? Because you've got modes on CarPlay where you can say, I don't want incoming notifications. I'm guessing that flows through to the Teams app just like every other app.
Yes, absolutely. So we have not, bypassed any of the settings that the system allows to make it as safe as, you want for you while you are driving. So you can, suppress the notifications. You can choose, to have all the notification filters that the system thinks are appropriate for you during that mode that you have selected on your device. So we are integrating fully with whatever capabilities that Apple provides and surfacing things in the most appropriate manner. As I said earlier, the focus is on making sure that whatever we offer on your car, given the sensitivity of things, we make it as safe as possible for our customers.
Awesome. I'm really excited. I'm sure there's nothing to share specifically at the moment, but the potential of voice control with things like Siri and the voice modes we've got in the AI tools, like it's getting a lot easier to have voice control of experiences, reply to messages in a reliable way. And obviously the potential in the future with things like Copilot of being able to ask, brief view of my day coming in. We've got audio recaps on Teams for meetings now. I can see a future where that's going to get to be a really strong experience.
Yes. So we are definitely exploring those. We want to make sure that, whatever enhancements we add are safe. But at the same time, we will benefit from all the enhancements that will come into Siri because, that impacts name resolution, intent detection while you are in voice-free mode, because we are essentially going through the same pipeline that Apple has created for, through Siri for voice and hands-free experience. So we will continue to innovate there. Voice-first experiences is something that we are looking at as the platform evolves and Gen AI experiences get absorbed more and more in the platform. So you can definitely expect us to continue to innovate in this area as the system evolves.
That's awesome. So those are some good specific recent features. I know there's some more stuff coming we can't quite talk about yet as well. But like, I'm guessing there's a ton of time for the team on both Android and iPad OS and iOS on just fundamentals and the platform moving and security and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. That is one of our, key focus areas, if I say so. And it is every single semester because we want to make sure that the experience stays up to date with the new capabilities, the spread of devices that we see from our customers. So we are always watching out for how our offering is performing across the spectrum of devices across the globe that we see in our user base. We have different geographies having very different characteristics because of the network conditions, because of the type of devices that are prevalent there, and the core raw horsepower that we can get from these devices.
Perf is an interesting question, isn't it, actually? Because like different markets are going to have different investment in different generations of devices and different geos, but also different verticals. Like I'm sure in lots of people have the latest iOS clients, but lots of people probably run iPads until the wheels fall off on them, edgy, for example, and you have to deal with all the different scenarios, right?
You are absolutely right there. iPad, for example, we see a much longer lifetime on iPad devices compared to our iOS devices, right? People are much more likely to change their handheld devices compared to iPads. We still see, 8-9-year-old iPads. One thing that we have done well, I think, is basically support older devices. But that also means that we have to constantly be on our toes to make sure that our performance stays up because our offering is becoming more and more powerful. It is getting a lot of features. That means that we have to basically really scale them across to keep working on these older devices that might have very low amount of RAM available, say, for example, on Android, or devices that might have, not that many cores as we have on the newer versions of iPhone devices. So a lot of tuning goes in there.
Is there anything you feature flag there where you're just on such an old version, I'm going to disable these capabilities, or is it the same across all the versions?
Yes, we do such things as well, right? But it's not more about disabling capabilities. It is more about how do we implement it, right? For example, we can tweak with the animations that we use. We can tweak with the layouts that we use for those features. Then we can change the order in which we do operations to prioritize things that might be more interesting for those devices or those scenarios that are getting run on those devices. So a lot of tweaking is what we try to control based on device capabilities. And that's one of our big efforts that we have been doing in trying to understand device capabilities better and coming up with some effective and a consistent way of categorizing devices and then scaling our experiences based on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's such a big landscape with so many hundreds of millions of users and all the different devices around the world. It must be quite the task to try and work out, or to optimize across all those different platforms and devices.
Absolutely. And a lot of our effort goes into looking at, our P95 to P99, percentile, those users who are pretty much at, our older devices, but also have a lot of data in their accounts. So that basically has a very different characteristic for what the performance and the reliability that you see in the app. So a lot of our investments right now are going in actually improving the experience over there. Right? Because that's where sort of the bleeding edge for the performance work is, right? Because for most users, they might not be getting that much amount of load up front in when they launch their apps, right?
Yeah.
But for some users, it's basically absolutely brutal in the morning, right? They are getting bombarded by their colleagues from across the globe.
Yeah, they're off time zone and they're waking up.
Chats and chats.
Yeah. Just waiting all the chats to load. I know that feeling.
Yeah, so that's where we are trying to do a lot more, a lot of, I don't want to go into the details of the numbers just yet, but a lot of good enhancements are rolling out to address that particular concern, especially around, the load, the delay that you might see when you tap on a notification going into the chat, or just the unified chat list load. We are doing a lot of optimizations there to actually further cut down the amount of processing we do it in more, paginated and phased manner, so that you get a more consistent experience from launch to launch. Right. So some really good numbers that we might probably share in a subsequent blog as we make those enhancements for the year. But our customers can expect, improvements coming in those areas all across the spectrum of devices, the iPad, the iPhones, and all the Android devices across high-end and low-end spectrum.
Awesome. Well, Avanish, thanks so much for so much insight into how it all comes together and a bit of behind the scenes, and nice to highlight some of those new features as well. I know there's some more stuff coming we can't quite talk about yet, but for everybody else, stay tuned on that stuff. And we'd love to have you back on the pod again when we've got more to talk about.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure talking with you, Tom.
Well, Harry, thanks for giving us such a good insight to how the Mac platform is kind of comes together from a team's perspective. And for people listening in, stay tuned for Ignite, which is only a few weeks out now. There'll be some more Mac-specific announcements that are quite exciting.
Thanks, Tom. This has been a great talk. I enjoyed this conversation for us, and be able to share some of the Teams engineering side of it for the Mac platform. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that everybody loves this podcast.
Awesome. Thanks so much.